What a manic week it has been. Had the expiry to digest, then of course the CCA nod for a gas price hike, and there we were, a good 3.5% uptick coming in over the week with banks as well as oil and gas really coming to rescue the market.
Oh yeah, what a week created really. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday downtick and Thursday, Friday a smart uptick.
Oh yes, so net we've managed to close past above that 5800 mark, 58.33 on closing bell in Friday's session. Friday alone the Nifty perked up a good 150 points in the green. So really the bump up for the market has come in the last trading day of this particular week. The Sensex 3.5% gain, though disappointingly can't say the same about the broader markets because you had the small cap index which at a time when the Nifty put on nearly about 3.5%, the small caps lost 1.6% and they had a red close. Banks 3% gain coming in there. Power, IT, metals, healthcare, oil and gas, energy all held out with names like Reliance, ONGC, GAIL, Sun Pharma, which was a very smart mover, Tata Power, Hindalco, BPCL, as well as ACC putting on a good show. On the flip side, like I said, it was the broader markets and then again the consumer durables index that lost by about almost 6%. Ranbaxy, JP Associates, IDFC, Tata Motors and PNB were your laggards this week.
Yeah, so many mid-caps in trade as well. I mean, Gitanjali would probably feature at the top of the mind by virtue of the kind of fall that it had. So 4 or 5 days in a row, locked on a downward circuit, 52% gone this week, in addition to the move that it did in last Friday. So, yep, a disappointing week for Gitanjali, something that they and the investors would want to forget. That aside, lots of individual mid-caps in focus for sure. So there was an IFCI, which on news of application for a banking license reversed almost all the losses and then ending up close to 10% in trade. Really good show put up by that one. Crompton Grease on the buyback news. I mean, lots of these individual names which did well. Not probably as well as the large caps have done. Mind you, the market breadth wasn't the most positive this week compared to what the index is showing. But yeah, you would have to say that decent enough show given by select mid-caps as well. Tech Mahindra 6.5% higher in trade. Mid-cap IT in general didn't have a bad week. Let's focus on what to do then, because there has been a bit of a trend reversal, if I may. And I think our technical experts are best equipped to speak about such language and such predictions as well. So let's get them in. Dr. C. Kanhaiya as well as Sandeep Wagle with their sense of the charts. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining in. It's been a reversal which not too many people expected. And Dr. Kanhaiya, some people might have gotten caught on the wrong foot as well. But this uptick the last 2 days, do you think it's just a bounce back which will get sold into? Or can it be more meaningful?
See, it's come at the end of the month and it's come all of a sudden on some news which was largely unexpected. So there is bound to be, some of the people on the wrong foot, and that is what has actually fueled the uptrend today. But then I don't think we can really get carried away with what has just happened because if you look at what the month of June as a whole, then you saw huge damages. And if you look at the monthly, for example, the breadth across the future space, you had, I think, something like 20-25 advances versus about 125 declines, which is like a huge 1:5 sort of ratio, and such debacles are not easy, swiftly overcome by just 1 day's advance. It was the end of the week, and it was a new clearing. Positions were lighter, so I think it was not very difficult to really push up the trends very aggressively on a Friday. But whether that will be possible across the next week is very, very debatable. Further, you are running into resistances starting from 58.60. And I think there is a bunch of resistances there which will be difficult to negotiate. The problem with the rupee is not disappearing. It's not in any manner become weak, even though it might have fallen down to about 59.65 or thereabouts. And the problems across CAD and etc. is not going to go away. There are people who are saying that this increase in gas will probably increase subsidy on the fertilizer side, and what are we going to do about that? And questions of such nature are not going away just because we had a huge day on a Friday. So I think we should take it a little bit, with a pinch of salt, as they say, and then look for strength before we commit further. If the strength persists, yes, we have another 100 points on Nifty above, but then let the market show that hand and then we'll play it.
Sandeep, just want you to pick one name out of ONGC and Reliance, which is still good for a buy come Monday morning.
Well, I am not very convinced of buying both for Monday morning, but yes, if you ask me to pick out of the two, little bit of on a correction, 850 to 840, I would be comfortable picking on a Reliance. and I would talk of a target of around 890 to 900.
Dr. Narayan wants specific view on a GAIL because that one was extremely volatile and extremely active too. What do you do with Gas Authority of India?
See, I think Gas Authority, the trend is not very strong. So I think you'll have to just play it as a trade. This is a stock which held out promise. Similar was IGL and from the gas space. I think both of them held out a lot of promise, but none of them got fulfilled because government inaction or let's say company-specific problems really sort of torpedoed the trends. And both these stocks are witnessing actually bailing out of long-term players. So therefore, I'm not really enthused by any kind of upside action that we may see on a stray news day. So I think any higher levels in IGL and GAIL should be used to exit from any kind of holding positions, and definitely it's only for short-term traders as an upside play, strictly for a day or two kind of play.
CK, further headroom for Coal India?
See, Coal India has been a bit of a disappointment because I had sort of steadfastly remained bullish on this stock at lower levels, and I was very distinctly unhappy to see it actually record a new all-time low. It even went below the listing period low when it went down in the last week. So one is not very happy at that particular aspect. But that said, I think I'll have to treat Coal India as a kind of a ranging stock where about 325, 330 zone seems to be attracting some sort of selling. I heard your analyst say that LIC was a buyer. Now, LIC buying generally doesn't send stocks up. It's other players which send the stocks up. So we need to really see big players stepping up to the plate and buying Coal India aggressively, which is not happening right now, and pushes down to new lows of all-time nature is not something which really endears the stock to one. I would play it for a range only and be very circumspect about my bullish view from here on.
Sandeep, a lot of people were bullish on IT. The stocks were very good on the charts, even mid-cap IT stocks like Tech Mahindra, for example, or large-cap IT stocks like HCL Tech. What do you do here? Is there a trade in any of the IT names, either on the long side or on the short side?
Niraj, I was also extremely bullish on Tech Mahindra where we booked out, and unfortunately HCL where we got stopped out. We expected the move to continue. But I would still say IT is a mixed bag. I'm still liking a TCS and Hexaware at lower levels. Tech Mahindra and Tech Mahindra has corrected along with HCL Tech. But I don't see that kind of a weakness where they'll crack down from here 5-7-8%, and especially with the rupee dollar thing, though I think this is a temporary phenomena. So I would be a buyer in a TCS and a Hexaware on declines for at least a 5-7% trading upside. Maybe not in TCS 5-7%, but Hexaware I certainly see a 7-8% trading upside. So a mixed bag I would say, and you can't write them off as of now.
Dr. Narayan, I'll choose an IRB infra out there. One stock that stayed low despite the fact that some of the other infra stocks did okay. It's got some headwinds, yes, but is there a trade here?
As far as IRB infra is concerned, there is only one trade, and that is to always keep selling it. I think it's a very, very clear downtrend. Has been for, I think, the past year or two almost. 2010 is where it made its stop, and has not seen any high levels ever since that. Any spiky upward move just slammed the stock. I think it's headed down to its all-time low somewhere in the 60s, 70s. I would use every rally to sell. There's no sucker which is visible for this stock at all.
Sandeep, to you, any trade when it comes to a Gitanjali or a Crompton Greaves?
Not really. Crompton has moved from a low of 72 to a high of 88. So I think whatever good has been discounted in the price. So at this level, I'm not comfortable entering. Gitanjali, I think the only way is to sell it. And I think it's in circuit, so there is nothing one can do. And I won't be that brave-hearted to buy this stock when a stock has fallen from 520 to 220 or 240. There is certainly something wrong and something more than what meets the eyes. In this market, if it is falling, then better avoid it. Even if it bounces back, I would avoid totally.
Fair call. Thanks for that, Sandeep. Let's in fact speak about some stock recommendations. If you're avoiding Gitanjali, what is it that you're recommending as trade Monday morning, Sandeep?
I have been liking some of the stocks in the pharma space. I think yesterday I have recommended Sun Pharma, and I am still on in it. We are still on in it, and now I am recommending a Dr. Reddy's with a stop loss of 2190, a target of 2260. It's made an all-time high, so that move should continue in this with this kind of a sentiment. The second one is a buy in BHEL. The stocks, both BHEL and Larsen, are showing traction. They have bottomed out, and some more upside to go. Maybe one can buy on a correction with a stop loss of 169.50, target of 180.
CK, what trades would you recommend for Monday?
Well, I'll first go with the one which is in the news, which is ONGC. I think, substantially long corrective period, which seems to have ended with the upward thrust. It didn't do very well on the day of the news, having met some profit taking, but I think the way it has set off with a very high level of momentum, I still remain very convinced of higher levels. I would buy it at the current level of about 330, keeping a stop at about 320, and look for a target of about 360 during the week. Second stock, which also is a buy, is Mahindra Mahindra. I think auto numbers should be coming out during the week, and the way the stock has moved and really remained resilient through the weak phases indicates that the expectations of the markets are high and players are confident. So buy this stock at about 950, 955, using a stop at about 945 or slightly lower, and look for a target somewhere in the zone of about 980 plus in the week.
Leave it at that, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining in on this leg of your trades and giving us your views. Have a great weekend. From Aisha and myself and the team that put the show together, thanks so much for watching.